Sweet. Hello all and welcome to another webinar. We've got the whole team on today. We'll do a bit of an introduction in a second. Over the last few months, we've had the opportunity to join us for a couple of webinars now. Myself and Kirsty have been running just through our sort of first series of webinars that we've done. All the series are available online, so you can go on and please pass them around if you've got colleagues who may benefit from some of the content we provided. We will also be looking to prepare more going into 2024 as well, which we'll talk about towards the end of today's session. Today's session is more of an informal session. We've had a few questions throughout the series, which we thought would be good to raise in here, as well as a couple that have come up since. And we'll also look at doing a live Q&A towards the end as well. If you've got any questions on what we're covering today or just anything about CRM in general, we'll try and help where we can. We thought introducing the team would be a nice start. We'll go through sort of a mini agenda, then get to the team as well. So, short bit about me to start with. My name's Alex. I've been with Prospect coming up 5.5 years now, 2.5 which have been on the CSM team, even when that was essentially me back when we first started the team. I've held a couple of positions in support, onboarding, and also CSM. CSM has been the role that stuck with me the most over the years. I've sort of accumulated a fair bit of knowledge in the roles I've had here, and being able to share that with customers has been really rewarding. Features, all of which are included in the subscriptions you're paying for, are often overlooked. So it's nice to be able to share some of the experiences I've had of where customers have made success of these features and essentially get a bit more out of the subscription you're currently paying for. So always been really nice to help where we can. And that was the slide I was supposed to move to. So we've also got Kirsty on the call as well.
Hi everyone. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kirsty Morris and I'm a Premier Customer Success Manager here at Prospect Soft as part of the Access Group. I've been at Prospect Soft for 2 years, and the best thing I enjoy about customer success is that not every day is the same, and being able to make customers more productive with the use of our system.
Thanks, Kirsty. We've also got Daniela on the call, who's actually new with us over the last few months. We've just been learning. If you wanted to introduce yourself as well, Daniela.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela, and I've been with Prospect CRM for over 2 months now. Happy to be here. As a standard customer success manager, what I love about being a CSM is seeing the direct impact of my work on customer success, to be honest, and knowing that my efforts lead to client growth and happiness. This is highly rewarding for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Daniela. Sweet. So I've jotted down sort of 8-10 questions or something like that, just that we've had through the series, which I thought would be really useful sharing. I appreciate not everyone's been to all of these sessions, so it'd be useful for just the sort of tricks and tips, as it were, as well. So I'll start with the first one myself. We've also got a demo system open in the background there. So where do I enable notifications, which was one of our sort of early webinars we did. So just to introduce this, hopefully most of you have seen this system. This is the That's My Jam system, just to sort of set the stage here a little bit. This is a CRM system we use for demoing that's based on a fictional company that sells jams and jam jars and such. So it's similar to obviously what you guys do, just sort of picture your own products over the top, and we can use this for the demos today. So the first question there about notifications. Any user to go up to this sort of top right, you'll see your profile picture or some initials there for your user. And within your sort of My Profile, there's a notifications tab here. And we've got quite a few notifications. We are adding more about sort of different things like integration errors. You can turn them on and off. I think the specific one was tasks that we got asked quite a bit. So task assignments here, get notified about outstanding and upcoming tasks. And we've got some different sort of time scales you can use for monthly and dailies and such like that. As well as that, we've got a couple of other different ones. So missing orders is quite a popular one as well, letting you know when customers should have ordered by now. That sort of ropes into another question we got asked quite a bit after that webinar as well, which was, can I add notifications for my other users? So if you're a sales team leader or something along those lines, can I actually turn these on for other people? And the short answer is not at the moment, no. But it is really easy to just get the guys to go up here, click on the My Profile and their notifications, and then they can enable them themselves. And obviously we can help them with that if they need any help. So the next question we had quite a bit was, should I share records or use the mention feature? Kirsty, do you want to take that one? Or shall I
Yeah, of
crack on?
course. No, that's fine. So they are different in the sense of the share and sort of assigning a task to somebody would mean that they are then responsible for that task. So if you have an opportunity or a problem that is logged, you can set the follow-up date on the tasks, and that would mean that they are assigned the responsibility for that task. So it will come up in their task list when it's due, etc. And then if you were to share, or sorry, if you were to tag somebody or mention somebody in the task, they don't have the they won't get the notification in their task list. So it depends on the importance of that notification. Sometimes we use it internally. If I'm just letting Alex know, I will mention him, as Alex is showing now. If I want him to action something, I would then share and assign that task to that person. So it all depends on what is the responsibility of that mention or task sharing.
Thanks, Kirsty. You can also mention multiple people as well. So if it's like a team-wide message, you can throw sort of a few people in here as well, and they'll all get that sort of notification which comes through to your inbox to keep everyone up to date on what's going on with that record. We had another one, I think, was probably from one of your webinars, Kirsty, as well, of adding the accept buttons to a quote template.
Yeah. Let me just take control.
Yeah.
Perfect. So in order to add quote accept or decline buttons, you'll need to go to settings, and it's all set up in your when you create a template, for example. So it could be on a document or it could be on the email template. So I'll just go through the email template quickly. So if you search for templates, you've got document templates here. And if you've already got an email, for example, so I'll go to the quote. Where are the emails? Here we go. So if I have the email editor open, so this is me just editing a template. You go to additional data at the bottom. Okay, they are not there.
Might have to be a quote email. This might be a generic template. I don't know what this template is. If you go to that top one, basic email quote, I think that one might have it. Further down.
There we go. Yeah. So in the quote template, when you create a quote, you'll have obviously dear and then all of the details, and then you can just add in the bottom, you select the quote order workflow, approve or decline. So this gives you the authorization button. So when you send that email out, you'll see an authorization button that says approve or decline. We do have the option as well to just have approve, because a lot of customers didn't really want to give their customers the option to say decline. They would rather have a conversation if they didn't approve it. So we would just put approve in there, and it depends on the way that you input them, but it's just as simple as adding them into a template, and you can add them into PDF documents as well, so they load up on there. Click save, and then it is on that document template.
Awesome. Cool. So thank you for that, Kirsty. I think we'll probably revisit that template a bit later on anyway. I think there's a question similar to that, so we might see those buttons in action as well. Another one we had was to add new columns to the sales Kanban report, which is one that I can help with. So for those who haven't seen the Kanban report, it's in this left-hand menu in sales, and then within opportunities, by default, you get this sort of list view of your open opportunities and one opportunities and such. If you click to these top right up here, you've got a few different tabs in which you can actually see a an entire pipeline. So we've got the customer resend pipeline in here, and you can see all of the open opportunities and their status. This is sort of a more interactive sort of dashboard, if you like, and you can drag items around. Makes really good for sort of sales stand-ups. I know the guys do this internally when we use our own sort of sales meetings and such. So one of the questions we had was, how do I add a new column to this, which is relatively straightforward. You just need to make a change to this customer respend pipeline itself. And to do that, you go down into settings and we'll look for opportunity and then opportunity pipelines here as well. So as you configure these, I'm going to focus on that customer respend one, click on this pencil here, and down this right hand side, it now tells me the statuses we've got. So we've got quote, in progress, process, awaiting purchase order, and then the closing statuses of won or cancelled. So if we wanted to add another column to that report, we can actually add into this section here. We'll put on qualified, for example, and then you can just reorder those, quote, qualified, in process. Then as you click out of this and go back to your report, give that a refresh. There we go. Back into the Kanban view, you'll then have the fifth column we've just added. Obviously, nothing in there, and then you can start moving bits and pieces across that as well. So another question we had was X but not Y reports. Can you use lists? So this is a webinar that I personally did. The X but not Y report, for those who don't know, is designed to show you a list of products that where essentially they have purchased some of them or purchased one of those items but not purchased another. So the scenario that I always revert to is buckets and spades. If you wanted a list of people that have purchased a bucket before but never purchased a spade, you can get that list quite easily. And one of the questions we had following that webinar was, can I essentially create a list of products, which you can do as well. Just thought it'd be worth showing everyone. So within sales, again, you've got reports, and it just happens to be here with mine. You can obviously give that a search if needed. Customers who bought X but not Y. That one there. So if you wanted to change this specifically from one product to a list, you can actually change the filter to is in. So if I was to use blue and apricot jam, and then have a look down here for straw. So we then get a list here of customers, they have bought these products, which is blueberry jam and apricot jam, but they have never purchased strawberry jam. So from this, you can obviously look at doing some email marketing, phone out, something along those lines. But for more relevant to you guys, you can actually do a whole list of 20, 30 products if needed, and then sort of identify where they've not purchased another selection of products as well. So that could also be a list. In addition to the sort of X but not Y, we also had a few questions around reporting. One of them was being able to search. Did you want to have a look at that one, Kirsty?
You can go through that.
Yeah, sure. So it's just a nice simple one then. If you were to go find a report, a pre-existing one or one that already exists, I'll click onto a new one. Got an activity feed report there. So yeah, if you're looking for filters or you're looking for new fields, there is actually a search option within the report builder itself. So if I select fields to begin with, well, we've already got quite a few actually, so we'll do filters instead. So grab filters. And we've got search fields just up here. So from this, I can search for, I don't know, contact name or something like that, contact ID, press search, you'll get some more on there. You might grab, we'll grab contact ID, update field. So if I was to look for a specific contact, I've now got that option as well, but you're just able to just search, and you can do a similar thing for the fields as well. So that was a nice short and sweet one. There was a couple regarding the magic matrix as well. So I thought I'd go through those. I think we did a whole webinar dedicated to the magic matrix, but it's quite a complicated topic. And one of the questions we had was actually configuring, which is something we lightly touched on during the webinar. So still by all means go and have a review of that. But actually creating them is not something we've delved too much in, but it's quite a simple thing to do. So the best way, in my opinion, to go and do that is to go and find yourself a product. Just use these reports here. And then within the categorization, you have this magic matrix category. And then to create a new one, you go to configure down here if you're an administrator. And then from here, it's nice and simple. You can add on a product group, call it webinar, and then also a max transaction age. And basically what that means is how far back into this group are we looking. So we'll put some products in here. And if you only want to report on the data from the last 6 months, i.e. who has purchased this product in the last 6 months, then you can just pop that into the 6, and then by default, it's 12 months. We'll just look at 6 months for this category. And then if we go back to our product, we've got all the existing ones and then our new webinar group there as well. And then if you were to go into the magic matrix, you'll see this new group now available to use. It's actually enabled there, so we can see who specifically has purchased that product or any product that we add to that group. And there was a follow-up from the same person with does the magic matrix product group match my ERP? And the answer to that is, as we've just seen, is no. It doesn't have to match at all. You can make up your own groups. Something I often promote doing is actually make groups based on seasonality. So obviously, if you've got Christmas right around the corner, you can actually make a new group and find out who has purchased this list of products that you're trying to promote for Christmas, and then you can go and fill in the gaps and target those customers who are yet to purchase those items that you add to that group. So very dynamic. You can obviously match them up to your ERP system if you wish, but it's actually quite dynamic as to making those sort of whatever you need the requirements for the magic matrix to be. He had another one for filtering missing orders to show recent orders, which I think is just a case of adding a date onto the missing orders report.
Yeah, so dependent on how you want to filter that and when you would like sort of the date range that you would like to see, you can just do days since last order, and that you can filter on that one to say that there's been obviously 30 days since last order, for example. That will give you anybody that hasn't ordered in the last 30 days or more than. So you can do it, you just filter it. You can't specifically, or from this report, you wouldn't necessarily be able to set the date of the last order. Alex, correct me if I'm wrong.
I can have a quick look. Might be able to based on the invoice date. But I think you're right. The best way of doing it is definitely to look at the orders sort of warding days and such like that.
Yeah.
That would be my recommendation as well, just to use these filters here and say, give me the people that haven't ordered in the last 120 days or something like that is normally the simplest way of doing that.
Yeah.
Obviously,
but again, you can create
then
reports. Sorry,
Alex. Yeah, sorry, after
you can create reports that will you can filter down on the date that they've last ordered. So if you would like a more specific date based on the missing orders, you can add a filter into a report that says they last ordered this date, or any customers that haven't ordered in the last 120 days, if you want to be quite specific on that. The idea of the missing orders is to give you an overview sort of daily that customer should have ordered by now, and it would be a great target for your sales team to reach out to the people that should have ordered and haven't as quickly as possible, so then you can reduce the chances of losing that business if they're looking elsewhere, for example.
Yeah, awesome. Sweet. I think there was one more question we've got listed down. There was another one that came in not too long ago, which I'll go through as well. So this one was, can you set up a dynamic template email that always looks for specific standard documents based on the product quoted? So yes, and I can show you that. That's a relatively simple thing to go through. So if I go and find a quote, use good old Mary Berry, and we'll just find one of these open quotes. That'll do. So what we've got here on this quote is a couple of products. And for those who don't know or don't use the library feature, the library is kind of like a file storage. You can store images there or template documents and such like that. If we go, so we've got Blueberry Jam here. On the left-hand side, there's actually images and files. And this allows you to link files there, and you can sort of add, this is the library, this is the view. You can store documents in here, go through these and just add on specific ones that you want to sort of match up to this product. So now you've got those, so you will need to make those links, but once you've done that and you've said this product has these documents linked, you can then automate and attach those links to either a quote document PDF or use the quote email, which I think was specified in the question. So the best way of doing that is just to make a quick change to our existing templates. I go into configure here. So we've got our basic email quote just up there. I'm going to make an edit. And we can see where Kirsty's added those sort of authorization buttons. We might want to, in between, add these library files. And just down on additional data again, product library file links. We'll save that. And then as we go back into our quote, into our document, basic email quote. So now we have the following. So the lines are already there. We've now added these links. You can click through those documents and go and download them. And then these are the buttons that Kirsty added earlier as well. So customer can look at the lines, look at any associated specification documents, and then approve the quote should they wish as well. And you can use that same sort of structure, what I've just shown, but add that to a Word document PDF, and you'll get the same sort of results in a table format. And obviously you can have multiple documents as well and have a sort of a bit of a list. So I hope that answered that question. And then one more, which we didn't get into the PowerPoint just because it was already made and Jessica kindly did the animation for us. I didn't want to ruin it. Just go and find that question. It was about Gmail sort of email forwarding or automatically saving emails into that. So there is a way of doing this. So to read the question, just to quote it, it's best practices for linking Gmail accounts to automatically log interactions to save quickly and efficiently. So this is something that I can sort of half show you today. I don't have a Gmail account to show you in full, but we actually have an email forwarding system which allows you to link up Gmail to basically a CRM inbox. It's probably best I show you from the actual document just because there's some screenshots in there. So it's this Gmail forwarding. What this allows you to do is actually look for this system setting here, system document saving email address. You can link up Gmail to prospects. And then a very important sort of line on this is this will save your email against the relevant contact. So what that basically does is allow a link between prospect and Gmail. As your customers email you, it finds their contact details based on the email address within prospect, and it can automatically save that correspondence for you. So I wish I could show you that. I just don't have a Gmail account to sort of demo in full. But if that's something we need, I'll send you the guide for this as well. But if you needed some help, just hit us up and we can go through that in person as well. Guide should cover it. It's a relatively simple thing to set up. It's just grabbing a verification code. I think that was it for the questions we had sort of preemptively sent across. I think it's over just to any live questions if anyone's got anything that based on what we've gone through or anything else we've had.
Yeah, if anybody's got any questions, can you put it in the Q&A chat at the bottom, and then we can run through them.
God. Might be a really quick session.
Yeah.
Go. Can I link quotes via SYN7 to be on prospect? So I'm assuming what you mean there is you've made a quote within SYN7 and you sort of want to duplicate the work almost and put it in both systems. So that's not something we currently do, and there's a reason for it. We don't do that with any account system. That's not SYN specific. The job of prospect is to manage those quotes over, in this case, SYN7 or an Unleashed or something like that. And the reason for that is not all of the business that all of the quotes that you have are going to be converted into an order. So the idea behind prospect is if you have, let's say, 100 orders and 100 quotes, but 50 of them convert to an order, we can keep the other 50 in prospects so it doesn't clutter up SIN7. We keep that our side for the eventuality that they do become an account, and then we can send them to SIN7. But until they're actually an account and when they're just a quote, we keep them in prospect to avoid cluttering up SIN7. So at the moment, that's not something we do with SIN7 or any account system. My sort of counter question would be sort of what is in SIN7 that you're using for quoting that prospect doesn't have, because that's normally, well, the only reason I can imagine why you're quoting within SIN7, in which case I'd love to discuss sort of why you're using those features and what we can do to bring them into prospect as well. A couple more as well. Another question we had. Sorry, after you, Kirsty.
From Daniela, and I'm assuming it's probably from one of our customers. Does ProspectSoft integrate to Shopify or other marketplace websites? The simple answer is no, because we have our own e-commerce platform. So we would link our CRM to our own e-commerce platform. You can potentially use our API to build a link, or use Zapier, for example, to link your Shopify website into CRM. But there is no current integration to Shopify or other marketplace websites because we have our own e-commerce, which is fully integrated. So all of the products and pricing that you would display in CRM are then available on our website because we link all of that through. And then does Prospect CRM offer workflow automation features to streamline repetitive tasks? We don't have anything inbuilt to our system. Obviously, we've got the tasks center dependent on the type of features or repetitive tasks that you're doing. The tasks probably is where you would like to have that logged, but it's not currently automated. We do have other customers that are linked using or use Zapier as a sort of plugin to our system to change statuses dependent on an outcome, for example. So instead of having to move things through a pipeline, if somebody confirms a quote, it could automatically be marked as sold, that sort of thing. But we would use a API connection through Zapier.
There is, just on that, we are actually building some automation for the quotes specifically. So this will be based on pipeline. We're hoping to see this as early as January, but it might be February, depending on how complicated it ends up being to build. But the idea behind that is if you've got a quote and you put it in status, quoted or something, the automation will know to send them an email template that you guys have created after 7 days, and then after another 14 days it will send them something else, or you move status to chasing and then it will send them something else as well. So yes, we do have stuff on the way for that. There'll be a sort of a very early version, and then from there we'll be expanding into other areas of automation as well. But it is a focus for us and something we're going to be looking at more in depth in 2024. There's also another question. Is there flexibility to customize the CRM to fit unique business processes and needs? Yes, there is, in short. So if I go back into our system here, so you do have to be an administrator, and this is only available for professional subscriptions. I don't think you have access to the customizer if you're on startup, but any administrator almost on any page within Prospect can go up to these 3 little dots here, and you've got a customize option at the bottom there. You can drag these fields around and change their order, change sort of where they are on the page. Ultimately, you can just remove them, rename them, whichever is required, or add some more just by going into one of these pages or one of these sections, adding a field and choosing the field you want to see there as well. You can also add custom fields. So on each record, so we're on quote at the moment, as you scroll down, there'll be another little arrow pointing out for custom fields. And you can add something that sort of matches your requirements, whether it's a new drop down or a flag or something like that. And then you can go and type out a name for it and configure the options within that. Okay, and then what else do we have? Had another one in.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kirsty, after you.
Sorry, no, you go.
So I was going to say, are we able to add custom fields specific to our business? Yep, just done that one. And then what are some key third-party apps that Prospect CRM integrates with? So some of the more important ones, I think, are email marketing based ones, which are the Klaviyo integration we have. We have MailChimp as well. They sort of tie in really nicely with some of the features we've made, such as this RFM dashboard that's on the screen, or the Magic Matrix, which sort of delves into some of your purchase histories and transactional history as well with those customers. So there's the sort of key that I would point to. We do have integration to other bits and pieces as well, such as Stripe for taking payments, or Zapier for building automation, if like Kirsty mentioned as well. So there are some more on the horizon, but the main two that I'd probably point people at, if you've not got already, is Klaviyo or MailChimp. They're not something we charge for. It's just the billing that those products charge for. The integration is essentially free of charge and part of the subscription you're paying. Was there any others, or are we questioned out? Oh no, I've got a couple more. What is the quickest way for me to update contacts for a company? The details for companies from our Sin7 account and Prospect are different, as there's no live updates on contact info, as nearly all are out of date. It is a big task. So there's obviously a couple of ways of doing that, and thank you for the question. You can do them one by one, which I'm assuming is not what you need, just by going to each contact and updating fields one at a time. If you wanted to do this in bulk, which is probably more relevant for what you're doing, there's a couple of ways of doing that. So if I go into contacts here on the left-hand side, this should be a list of all of them that aren't in a status of delete. You've got two options. You can either do a bulk update or update via Excel. Probably update via Excel is what you're looking for, but I'll just show you bulk update as well. So this just allows you to select the fields or the records you're looking at. So if I grab those first four, you can choose an action here and go and update those fields en masse, update their tags, etc. like that. Where this is probably less relevant is you're making one change for all of those sort of records at the same time. So if I was to change all of their phone numbers and go and put in a new number, it's going to give that number to all 5 of those records. So that might be useful if you've got some customers that are all sort of similar and you're changing their, I don't know, their industry to be healthcare or something. But more relevant to that question, I think, is the update via Excel.
The other side of that as well, Alex, is just to understand a little bit as to how they've become so out of date. So if you're updating, are you updating Sin7 instead of updating Prospect? We would say that if you're doing, obviously it's a contact management as well within CRM, the best place to update contacts, for example, would be in the CRM, because then all of your quoting, etc., and sending emails and details of company data would be best stored in the CRM. If there's a reason why that's not working, let us know, and we can run through that probably offline, but in a little bit more detail to understand why they're so out of date already. And then we do have another question. What is the easiest way to connect Prospect CRM with Unleashed software? So there's a few sort of parameters within that. It depends if you've already got Prospect CRM and then you're getting Unleashed, or if you are already Unleashed and you're getting Prospect. It all depends on how you would like that synced up. But you go into the integrations, as Alex has just shown on the screen, and then you would connect in there, and then it will sync. Dependent on which way around you're doing it, we might need to do some migration of data, for example, and I would suggest contacting our support team to be able to assist with it, if it's not as straightforward as just connecting a new Unleashed software.
Yeah, exactly that. If it's an empty system, then it should be nice and easy. It's just literally 2 clicks sort of thing. So, but yeah, reach out if it's not and you're moving from another system. I think that's it, though. I'm not seeing any more questions. I'll leave it another 30 seconds if anyone's got anything to mind. But I think we're there about finished. So on that grounds, then, series 2 previews. We do have some more webinars coming out. So we're going to go and cover early as January, maybe February. I can't remember when we're starting. And these are sort of very sort of drafted at the moment, and we will be going into them in more depth, and you'll get proper titles and the invites and such like that. So we've got the RFM analysis is something we're going to cover, more about the inquiries and forms, a specific webinar for email marketing, some new user sort of mini training session that hopefully you can put in front of anyone you've recently onboarded and onto your team and sort of show them around. A bit more about quote processing, and then some about email templates, quote templates and such like that. So we have briefly touched on that today, actually. So we'll go into that in a more in-depth session. This won't be all of them. I think we've got another 8 or 9 planned, and then we'll probably do another Q&A similar to this based on that series as well. That should cover probably the first, maybe as much as the first half of the year. But if anyone's got any suggestions for things you'd like us to cover, then just throw us an email or get in touch, and we'll see if we can organise a webinar based on those topics. But once we've put them live, you'll be able to go here and register just like you've done for this one. And I think that's actually us finished. I don't think there's any more questions that have come in since I've been waffling.
Yeah. And just remember, all of our webinars are available through that link that was just on the last slide. And they're also available on our ProspectSoft YouTube channel. So you can see them in there. But thank you all for joining. And I hope you have a lovely Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year for the next webinar series.
Perfect. Thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it.